Hello viewers, today we are going to talk an interesting topic which is highly relevant in today's day-to-day environmental problem. In this session, we have Professor Jason Soki, Professor Life Science, School of Science, Indira Gandhi National Open University, and Miss Anjali Kumari, Research Scholar, School of Science, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Viewers, the climate change is one of the very important environmental issues or environmental problems we are facing. The climate change is the change in level of carbon in the atmospheric air. So in this context, Professor Jason Soki, please give us a small introduction about carbon. What is carbon?
Thank you, Dr. Kuman. It's very relevant to know what is carbon because it is a very important element in the whole universe. Not only Earth, Sun, stars, meteorites, cosmic dust, different planets, stars, all are made up of carbon. Carbon is the fourth most abundant element in the universe after hydrogen, oxygen and helium. And in Earth, it is the 15th most important element. It is the second most important element in the human body along with oxygen and hydrogen. So lots of environmental problems and challenges are in the face of humanity today. So it has been found that carbon is playing a very important role in that. So let us start with the very basic structure of what is carbon. So this is a carbon atom. It is made up of 6 protons. You can see the red ones in the middle and this yellowish or mustard color 6 neutrons, and there are 6 electrons, 2 in the inner orbit and 4 in the outer orbit. It is a highly reactive atom. It has a capacity to combine with different atoms and form various compounds, and about 10 million compounds or molecules have been formed with carbon. So it is highly reactive. It doesn't settle, it has to interact and form various molecules and compounds. It traps lots of energy. It forms bonds with different molecules. And if we move further, we will see that in our Earth, we have atmosphere. In atmosphere, carbon is present in the form of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. And this chart shows the constituent gases of atmosphere. The atmosphere can be divided into 2 parts. One is constant components that comprises nitrogen 78.08%, oxygen 20.95%, argon 0.93%, neon, helium and krypton form 0.0001%, and these constant components form about 99% of the atmosphere, and only 1%, that is the variable component, that comprises carbon dioxide 0.03%, water vapor 0 to 4, methane, trace, sulfur dioxide also in trace amount, ozone also in trace amount, nitrogen dioxide also in trace amount. So this variable component, and most importantly carbon dioxide, is playing a crucial role in governing the global warming cycle.
Now, as we know, different form of carbon is one of the important key gases which affect to the global climate, right? So, looking into that thing, each and every element, each and every compound have their own cycle. How carbon cycle is happening around the biosphere?
It is important first to visualize our planet Earth.
Yeah.
There is the Earth here, and around the Earth there is a layer of gases that forms the atmosphere, and together with that layer of gases where the life exists, and little bit below the surface of the Earth the life exists around the globe, and that part is known as the biosphere. So that biosphere plays very important part in regulating the whole living dynamics of the planet Earth. Now talking about the globe, anywhere you go around in the globe you will find air. The quality of air will be the same. You will find oxygen in whether you go to America or whether you go to New Zealand or whether you go to Australia. So the air or the atmosphere is in continuum. There is no boundary as we have made boundaries for various continents and countries. The atmosphere is continuous. There is turbulence, there is wind, there are currents. So the more or less dynamic way. So globally the atmosphere is connected, and whatever is added at one point, it circulates around the whole globe. So that is known as global cycle. Now talking about the atmosphere, not only carbon is there is sulfur, there is different methane, different gases are there. So they are cycling all around in the atmosphere. So since carbon is very important, and just how it operates at the global level, we will explain it here.
Actually, carbon is also present in the Earth's atmosphere, soils, ocean and Earth crust also. When viewing Earth as a system, the movement of carbon between and within all its reservoirs, as I explained, that is atmosphere, soil, oceans and Earth crust, is known as global carbon cycle, because carbon is circulating globally to the atmosphere and in every component of Earth as a whole system.
This diagrammatic representation of this picture that shows there are 4 circles in orangish line. That is, one is atmosphere at the top, there is one circle in the middle, living organisms, and then there is on the left hand side there is earth, and then there is water. These are 4 important reservoirs of carbon dioxide. So you may question, we are talking about carbon, why we are talking about carbon dioxide? Because it is playing a very important role in the whole life cycle or the life support system. So coming back to this cycle, we can just briefly describe this. You can see on the top is written global carbon cycle. So this cycle in a general way gives an overview of how things operate at the global level. And just keep in mind that the whole atmosphere is connected, and there are living organisms of various kinds scattered throughout the globe, in the air, in the water, in the oceans, water bodies, and on the planets, on the different continents. So all the life forms are there. So coming back to the cycle, what happens in the living organisms, they are respiring all the time. They are giving mostly the ones which respire aerobically, they take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So in the top picture you can see carbon dioxide is released during respiration, and also when there is some fires, or maybe like recently they were burning of crops, and maybe we burn fuel for cooking, etc. In that process carbon dioxide is emitted and it goes to the atmosphere. So you can imagine carbon dioxide is being added to the atmosphere by all the living beings, all the human activities, or wherever they are, natural fires or whatever they are. And then not only it is going in, this also come back to the living beings. The living beings, mostly the plants, they absorb carbon dioxide and they synthesize carbohydrates through the process of photosynthesis. You can see the second arrow at the top between the atmosphere and the organisms, living organisms. Then coming to the water reservoir, you just imagine we are talking about water in the oceans, all the river bodies. So how the exchange, how by the way of carbon, atmosphere and water bodies are connected. Atmosphere, the air is always in touch with water. If you have been to sea or you have seen the pictures of sea, when the waves are coming in and going out, a lot of air gets trapped into it. And in this process, carbon dioxide is one gas that we are discussing now that gets dissolved in that water, and that forms carbonic acid. And that carbonic acid is used, it serves as a source of carbon for the aquatic photosynthesizing organisms, maybe phytoplanktons, they are single-celled organisms, or they may be bigger algae like kelps, etc. So they utilize carbon dioxide dissolved in water and photosynthesize it. Then there are organisms in the water, they also respire and give carbon dioxide. Some of the carbon dioxide goes into the atmosphere and some dissolves in the water itself. Now coming to the interaction between earth and water, you can see the lower 2 circles. That is, the earth is a reservoir of limestone, that is calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is present in natural form in the sediments of the earth, and also the reservoir of dissolved carbon dioxide we have already discussed. Now the interaction between earth and atmosphere during volcanic eruption. You know, when the volcanoes erupt, lot of gases and lot of ashes is thrown into the atmosphere, and along that carbon dioxide in a big amount is put into the atmosphere. So that is one source. Other is that coal, oil, natural gas, etc. they are used in vehicular traffic, industry, power generation, agriculture, and various uses. So that also results in the release of lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
I just want to tell there are two main time scales of a global carbon cycle. One is short time scale of few seconds, in which movement of carbon is from one reservoir to another. That is in the process of photosynthesis, when the plants take carbon dioxide from atmosphere and convert it into starch or sugar and in organic form and store in his biomass. This is a short-term storage, but some long-term processes, that is when rocks or the soil, there is a long-term storage of carbon, and these reservoirs are called long-term sink for carbon. For movement of carbon, this type of sink is very important.
Now one part left was living organisms on the surface of earth. They are constantly respiring, they are generating lots of waste. So that waste is put on the surface of earth. That also degenerates and gets broken down with the help of decomposers into elemental form. So in a very complicated manner this cycle is going on. There are innumerable actions and reactions happening all the time, day and night, on the surface of earth, in atmosphere and in water. So many things are taken in, some things are synthesized, some things are secreted, they are broken down, sent back again to the various reservoirs. So that is one point is reflected here. And then there are organisms, they are in the water. It has been described earlier that they also photosynthesize, take in carbon dioxide, and then they give out oxygen. So they take in carbon dioxide that has been dissolved from the atmosphere, they take in from the water, and then they give some oxygen inside the water, and some of the, because of the churning of water or because of the activity of the various animals, the oxygen also escapes. So not only one gas or one thing is operating, but many and all the things are there cycling throughout the whole biosphere. It is very important to understand that aspect. There are interactions between each and every component, each and every molecule in this biosphere. And then there are organisms, there are interactions between them, and then there are interactions with outside.
Did you see any difference in global carbon cycle and a local carbon cycle? Is there different local carbon cycle?
Very right, sir. And because as we go there, we just take a little digression for a short time. There is something like food chain.
Yeah.
Now we will just take an example of a food chain. There is grass. It is eaten by an insect, maybe grasshopper. That grasshopper, it becomes the food of a bird, and the bird becomes the food of a snake, and the snake is eaten by an eagle. So what happens? They get the food from the plant, the grass. Now how does the grass provide the food? So what happens is, there is cosmic energies and there is sunlight from outside the atmosphere, from the sun, that is falling on the surface of the earth. There are these green plants, they have chlorophyll in that. From the atmosphere they take water and then they take carbon dioxide. They, in the presence of the sunlight, that is the source of energy, they combine carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and form carbohydrates. And that gets stored in the plant, that is the grass. So this is how this plant, the chlorophyll traps the energy of the sun, that is a light energy, into the form of a chemical energy. So that is in the form of bonds. That is between carbon. That carbon plays very important part in that. Carbon combines, it's highly reactive molecule. It combines with hydrogen, oxygen, forms bond. Each bond has lot of energy stored in that. So it happens that it becomes a food of different organisms, and this is how the energy travels throughout the food chain, and this is how it goes on.
Why this level of carbon in the atmosphere is very important, madam? Because nowadays we are talking about the level of carbon dioxide is increasing near this pollution. Why it is so important?
It is important, Dr. Khumman, because there is scientific data available that shows that in the earlier times the amount of carbon dioxide was not that much in the atmosphere, that in the recent 30 or 40 years has increased to such a point that it has led to a chain of reactions that has led to something like global warming, and some very unprecedented reactions are taking place that are in front of the humanity, and that is a very big challenge for the whole mankind, because they understand, they are intelligent, they are taking note of that, they are making empirical studies, recording everything and sharing it with the whole scientific community.
I want to say that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Carbon dioxide forms a blanket light which traps the sunlight and makes our earth warm to sustain life. Otherwise it would be colder. But everything is dangerous. So the increasing level of carbon dioxide makes our planet warmer than ever, and it would be dangerous because our Earth's global mean temperature is increasing, and for this there are very catastrophic effects are going on, which is dangerous for sustain life to our planet.
Thank you very much, Professor Sunsoki and Ms. Anjali Kumari, to be with us and explain about the importance of carbon, how it is going on to our viewers.
Thank you very much.